So the grand jury in Louisville is supposed to announce today whether or not they're going to indict those cops. And I haven't really ever talked about this too much, so I guess I will now. Um, are the cops guilty of murder? Well, they found that you have the apartment being staked out along with 5 other trap houses. The detectives from the one trap house communicate with the people at the Brown and Taylor's apartment that they have eyes on the quote unquote subject, on the guy they were looking for. They pick him up 20 minutes before her door was kicked in. They serve a no knock warrant, which at the last minute was changed to a knock and announce. But all the neighbors said that they didn't hear an announcement. The boyfriend shoots, hits a cop in the leg. That cop fires back along with another officer in the hallway who shoots through the wall. So are the cops guilty of anything? A lot of people are saying no because there was a miscommunication. My problem with this is that then forever, when the cops do something wrong, it's just going to be a miscommunication. Those cops signed up for that job, and they did something horrific while they were on the job. They chose to do it. They have free will. They have the ability to check that information. You know, when a detective gets a warrant and fills out an affidavit, which normally has lies in it, from my experience, and that judge signs off on that warrant, he rubber stamps that warrant. That's what happens. They rubber stamp them. They don't even read them anymore. Um, and just that there were 6 different search warrants for houses in this case proves that. And I know somebody's going to say, well, they could have seen him at all these houses. Just because somebody's at one of these houses doesn't mean that the cops should have the ability to kick in the door looking for him. That's not probable cause unless you know he's at that house. But the judge signed all 6 search warrants anyway. Rubber stamped them. That's what he did. The cops signed up for that, though. You know, you treat them like heroes when you say they do good shit. Treat them like criminals when they do bad shit, and that's what they did. They kicked in a door that the guy wasn't even there. The detectives that were staking out the apartment building missed her and her new boyfriend going to Texas Roadhouse and eating, and then coming back. Missed them both ways. They thought that she was by herself. If she was by herself, then why did they need to kick the door in? The ex-boyfriend wasn't there. Personally, I say I hope they indict them all. I hope they all get life sentences because that's what they deserve. You know, if for nothing else, you know, even if you take away the fact that they hold unconstitutional positions, and they do, they're a standing army, is what the police forces are. We're supposed to self-govern and police ourselves. Even with taking that away from it, they should still be charged for killing that woman. Just as, you know, if you're driving down the road and you are involved in an accident that is not your fault, you know, it was a freak accident, you know, just it wasn't your fault, but it happened, and they placed the blame on you because for whatever reason, you still get charged with that. Now, they're boarding up shit down there in Louisville, anticipating a no bill on this indictment, what would be an indictment? It's a no bill, so it's not an indictment. And I would say the same, because here's what happens, and I'm going to tell you from experience. They don't, you know, when you go in as a juror or a grand juror, they expect you to know the law. It's not like they sit there and they read the law off to you and then jump back and forth between the laws, you know, and so you really have a good understanding of it. They say, you know, if you think they're guilty of this, then if you think a crime was committed, then sign here. If you think they're guilty, then sign here. And that's one of the problems with our system. And now the prosecutor apparently has asked that if I'm sorry. Back up. Not the prosecutor in Louisville because he recused himself, but whoever would be prosecuting the case asked that there be an all-white jury, which I don't know where the hell that came from. I just heard it on the radio a minute ago, which that could be bad news. I mean, I'm sure, you know, there's bad news that happens all the time, but they should fry all these cops' asses. They should give them whatever they give anybody else who, you know, killed the wrong person or accidentally shot somebody. Those cops signed up for that shit. They know what they're getting into. I mean, we're giving these cops free passes for everything they do. Qualified immunity and not charging these bastards when they do something wrong is the problem. They wouldn't be so quick to no knock if they knew that they had to actually get get an eye on their target and see who their target is before they pull the trigger. They're just randomly firing, and the one cop firing through the wall proves that. He didn't. There could have been a baby behind that wall. Luckily, there wasn't. Unfortunately, Breonna Taylor is the one that died, and I'm sure some of that cop's rounds probably hit her. And if they find that out, that dude is definitely going down. And if he doesn't, people should raise hell about it. But they shouldn't be rioting. They shouldn't be burning down um, buildings and all that bullshit. Take it straight to the police. Take it straight to them. You see them wearing a badge on the side of the road or pulling somebody over or whatever, stand outside the precinct and take it straight to them. You got a problem with them, take it to them. But I would, if I had to make a guess what was going to happen, I would say it's going to come back in no bill. If anything comes back for the cop that shot through the wall, they'll charge him with like a negligent homicide. In Ohio, it's a misdemeanor. It's untelling though in Kentucky. Kentucky's got some crazy laws. They do crazy shit, and they give crazy times. Not as bad as Indiana, but Kentucky's still pretty bad. And these 9 grand jurors or 12 grand jurors. Yeah, there's 12 grand jurors. 9 of them has to sign for a true bill in order for to get an indictment. In the back of their mind, they're thinking O.J. Simpson riots. 92 or 94. L.A. riots. What happened when that came back in no bill? They're thinking that this is going to be on their shoulders. So, even with that being on their shoulders, I would just about bet it comes back in no bill. Just because they don't punish the police no more. The police are held up as gods and as heroes and all this crazy shit when they're not. They're your enemy. If you're a freedom-loving individual, the police are your enemy. You can not want to harm anybody or anything or harm anybody's property, and they'll still come arrest your ass for something because some 20 pricks somewhere signed a piece of paper and said, hey, this is illegal. I don't know. I guess we'll find out by the end of the day, but I don't know why they have National Guard on standby for nothing. On a second note, I'm so sick of hearing constitutional rights. I was absolutely sick of hearing it. You don't have constitutional rights. And I've said it before, but I'm saying it again for all my new subs. You do not have constitutional rights. You have natural rights. The Constitution grants you nothing. The Constitution is wholly restriction on government. 100% that's what it is. Even with the power that we've given government, it's still restriction because we only give them that power. You have natural rights. The Constitution restricts government from infringing on those rights. And it's your duty to enforce the Constitution. And 100%. And if that means giving your life to do it, that's what you're supposed to do. And I know everybody's going to point their finger at me saying, oh, you haven't given your life yet. Well, I've given a lot of shit, and I guarantee that in the end, I will die from a government bullet. I just said that yesterday or the day before. I've accepted it. I'm pretty sure my wife's probably accepted it. It's no secret. And it's not because I've done anything wrong or I want to harm anybody or I want to harm anybody's shit or steal their shit or, do anything to anybody. It's because I see government for what it is. It's not here to govern us any longer. Our government now is trying to make us slaves, and they're doing a pretty damn good job at it because we're all, me included, to a certain extent, are too big of, I don't want to say I'm a coward, because I'm not. We don't fulfill our duties as was intended, but we were meant to fulfill those duties in unison together. I can go out here and go down to my local police station and start some shit with them and die. But if I go down there with 1,000 of you and we start some shit, that's a problem. And not a problem for us either. So quit saying constitutional rights. You have natural rights. The Constitution just protects them. We're supposed to, but that only protects them if it's backed by force. And that force has to come from you. And why I'm on it, might as well talk about this one too. Law-abiding citizen. That's the biggest bullshit term in the world. That's bootlicker. If the founders were law abiding, there'd be a fucking British flag in your front yard right now. Quit buying that bullshit. That virtue signaling bullshit. That's what that is. Law abiding, the term law abiding came from Canada because they don't have natural rights as we do. They have rights, but those rights can be taken through law, which means they're just fucking privileges anyway. You should see that with the AR platform ban up there. So law abiding citizen came from there. Quit using it. We're not fucking Canadian, okay? You have natural rights. Do what you want to do. Buy what you want to buy. Have what you want to have. Make what you want to make. And if anybody has anything to say about it, they are a criminal. Plain and simple. Treat criminals as criminals, no matter what costume they wear.